Hello everybody, welcome to my channel on a very cold January morning. I hope that everybody had a great start of the year, and today we're gonna do the Zafira. You remember it from the service I've done a few months back. Today I've got a thermostat to fit in this car, exactly because of the weather, because it's been so cold in the UK this past few days. This car is not heating up, and if you see it here, this condensation, it's from the inside because it's so cold. So we're gonna fit the new thermostat and then run the car up to temperature and get rid of the air bubbles and then test the heat inside the car. I'm gonna try to get this as quick as I can and give you as much information as I can, because to be honest, I really just want to go back inside because it's so cold outside. So let's just crack on with this. The thermostat is that part right there. I can barely see it now. It's right behind there. So I'm gonna have to remove this stuff here out of the way. There's two bolts right here for this bracket, and because the bracket actually covers one of the bolts down there, so I'm gonna have to remove this bracket, and hopefully by removing that I can move all this out the way and remove this. There's these clips here that we'll need to remove from the pipe, and you will need coolant, so that's why I've got the drain, the oil catch can there, not catch can, the whatever that is, I don't know the name of that, but anyway, because when you remove this pipe you're gonna lose some coolant, so I'm gonna slide it under the car, because when you remove that you're gonna lose some coolant. And then we're gonna compare the two. This is the thermostat looks like in these cars. There's obviously a plug there which we're gonna have to remove as well, and yeah, and then the pipe just goes over it and put everything back together. And you will need sockets. I don't know, I think they're called external sockets or something, but I'll show you which ones you need. You'll need these here if you have a Vauxhall, because there's loads of bolts like these here. Those are meant to be E10s, which I have it here in this kit. You'll find the link in the description if you want to buy one. And yeah, let's just start moving stuff out of the way. I got the bracket out the way. I got my oil catch thing at the bottom, and these are all loose, and as I said, they are E10s. And for that bottom one there, you can't really see on camera, but the bottom one down there, you're gonna have to be a bit creative. I bent the heat shield out the way, otherwise you can't get a socket on it. And then when I'm done, I'll just pull it back to where it was. But yeah, everything's loose now. Probably I'm gonna take the pipe off now, get a bit more room, get the pipe out the way, and then loosen all of them. And then there's this electrical connection, which I think you just press the tabs maybe, or yeah, we'll get that once we get the thermostat out of the way. I don't want to break it. I don't know if there's any locking type on it or not. So pipe off and then remove the remainder of the bolts. Let's just hope I can get a good grip with these, because that's the only thing I've got for this clip, to be honest. And I hope it doesn't break too, because it looks well rusted. So here goes nothing. Yeah. So yeah, that's it out the way. And now let me see there. Does it have coolant even? I don't know. I didn't check if it has coolant. The coolant reservoir is this here. I'm just checking for coolant, which at this stage doesn't really matter because we're gonna have to fill it up afterwards. But I just want to see if there's any in it, because like I said, you will lose coolant when you remove that pipe, or you should lose coolant when you remove that pipe. We'll see. Yeah, there is coolant, but barely any, so we should be okay to remove it. Let's see what's gonna. Yeah, there's coolant coming out already. I had the tray in the wrong place, I had to move it, but yeah, like I said, you will lose some coolant getting this hose off. Let me just tilt this down, get all the coolant off. Yeah, okay. So good enough, but now I'm gonna maybe route it under these pipes here. So yeah, so I put it under these pipes here so I have a bit more room to work there. And now I need to remove the rest of, remove the bolts completely. And as I mentioned before, my torque wrench only starts for 27 or 28, and the torque specs for these bolts are 8 Newton meters. So if you have a small torque wrench, go ahead and torque these bolts. But if you don't, as long as you snug them, you should be okay. And again, that bottom bolt there does not want to play ball. So I'm gonna get these removed, and then we'll compare the thermostats. So last bolt. I hope I'm not calling this shot, but that's the last bolt out. Don't forget about that electrical connection. And now you should just, yeah, pull out like that. So now we can see that underneath this, yeah, good thing I didn't try to force it, because there's a locking tab right here. Let me see, where's my trim tool, because I don't know which way this goes. I see it. It's still broke. Still broke. So how we're gonna get that off now? I'm gonna need a pick and move it. Yeah, gonna need to use a pick. I'll show you what I'm doing once I get this off, because you're still gonna be able to lock it even without the tab. Yeah, okay, so that's it off. Yeah, so that's the old one off. I'm going to tell you what I've done here. So if you look inside here, you can see that blue tab there, so the tip broke, but with the pick you can still slide it out, and then when you're done you can just push it in, and when you slide that out it will allow you to press this here and remove the plug. So now before we put those on, we're gonna have to compare to see if they're the same. They do look the same. Let me get a different angle on this. Again, need to compare these from every angle. The screws look like they will align just perfectly. The plug will stay on the right bottom side, and looking at them they all look the same. You can see this one here is pretty dirty, and looking at them I know why the car is not heating up, because when the coolant reaches certain temperature, this spring here, this bigger spring collapse, opening it up, and you can just sort of see that it's stuck open. So it's stuck open right under this rubber here. It's stuck open, it's not closing, whereas this one here is fully closed, and then when the car reaches temperature the spring here will shrink, opening it up, allowing the hot coolant to circle the system and then eating up the cabin as well. So yeah, we found the culprit. Just now doing everything in reverse. Feed this here. I don't think you need to replace the screws for this, because like I said, it's only 8 Newton meters, so it should be fine to reuse the screws, and just snip them up and you'll be fine. Don't need to over tighten it. I did it off camera, but it's probably a good idea to give it a little brush there to make sure that which way this goes under here. So like I was saying, give it a little bit of a brush to be sure that it will sit correctly, and then you'll need to plug in. I'm doing the exact same order that I took it off, did the thing slide, because let me see, oh, is it this way? Yeah, I was putting the plug the wrong way around. So yeah, give it a good brush to make sure that the surfaces sit correctly, and then, as I said, with the pick, push the locking tab back in to prevent it coming out, and then feed it under here and just sit it against the block. Yeah, everything plugged in, all fine. Yeah, the screws seem to align fine as well. So let me get the screws. I'm gonna get them all started first before I even start tightening it up, just to hold the thermostat in place. Instead of fighting against it, so we'll just use the screws to hold it in place. And another thing that you should probably think of doing, remove the battery in the tray, because the bolts are directly aligned with the tray and I couldn't even fit the socket there. So I removed the battery and the battery tray to give me room for tools. And yeah, it does help quite a lot having the battery and the tray out of the way. And then it's just a matter of getting all these started, and also tightening it up before you put the pipe, because the pipe will be in the way. So start them all up, tighten it up, and then and then you can put the pipe and refit the battery. I unplug a few connections here because there's one that goes right in front of the engine, so I unplug a couple connections here. No big deal, battery is off anyway, so it's not a big deal unplugging them. Just before you start the car again, just don't forget to plug it back in. So yeah, I'm gonna get this fitted, and then we'll resume when I'm ready to fill it up with coolant and then start the engine to warm it up. I've got thermostat in, pipe in, the clip back on. Tell me guys, which one of you know the pain these clips are? I hate these clips. Yeah, I do have the wrong tool for it because these pliers are not the right tool for these clips, but these clips are a pain in the backside to work on. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's just plug these on if I can with one hand. Yeah, on. This pipe goes here and clips in there. This one here, as you push this down and push it forward, it will lock in place. And that's the only two connections that I've undone. Now on with the battery tray and battery, fill up the coolant, and we can give it a start. Also, I'm gonna have to move the car up to that alleyway there because, like I said, the catch tray was in the wrong place, so some coolant spilled, and coolant has like a sweet smell or taste for animals, and it's harmful for them. So I'm gonna have to move the car there while it warms up to give this a rinse to get rid of the coolant. But just like that, everything's back on. Thermostat is plugged in. These plugs here that I took off, they're back in. A nice and shiny new thermostat down there. Battery back in place and connected. Just need to fill up coolant and start and let it run to warm up. On Vauxhalls, they don't have the temperature gauge, so there's a way to have it shown up on the display. There's a way to have it there, what the temperature is, but I'm just gonna let it run for 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna turn the fans on because I'm gonna let it run with the fans turned off. And after 10 minutes, I'm gonna gradually start the turn on the fans and remove the cap for the coolant reservoir so that the air bubbles can escape through there. So I'm just gonna start it up and clean that coolant that spilled, and hopefully in 10 minutes I'll have good news. So while the car's running there and warming up, I'm gonna show you something that is gonna be for a future video. But for those that notice a set of calipers just sitting here, so I've got these calipers. These are rear calipers. They are from the Golf R32 or Audi S3, and they take 310 millimeter discs, which are sitting right here as well. These are also vented and pads. So I've got also the shims are in there, new shims, new new bolts for here. I've got braided lines to replace these with. I've got new clips for this. So this is going to be more for looks than anything else, just because the fronts are 312 millimeter and the rear brakes looks really small. So this is just sort of match the size with the front brakes. It's not to increase performance, it's honestly just for looks. To increase performance, when I do that, I'm gonna flush the brake fluid system, the brake system, because the pedal does feel a bit soft, and with new fluid and the new brake setup should give the car a nice braking performance. Although, like I said, it's mainly just for looks. I'm not looking for performance for the rear brakes, just to look better, to match the fronts. So I hope you guys are excited as I am for the brake upgrade, but as I said, that's for a future video. And meanwhile, like I said, I'm looking for a second car to fix and flip. Job's done. Car is now feeling like a sauna, and I'm on the way now to bring the car back to my sister-in-law. And yeah, that's it, guys. Change that thermostat. You need to run it up to temperature, and you'll need to, well, you don't need to, but I done it. I think it would be it was faster that way, like releasing the cab so the air bubbles could escape. And yeah, that's it. Job's done. Now the car is completely hot, and no more mist or condensation on the inside of the car. So make sure you click the like, the subscribe button, and be sure to be following the channel for when I change the brakes on the Golf, for you to follow my work, and hopefully I'll be able to teach you or show you something new while doing the brakes. So click the like, guys, subscribe, and share with your friends, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Thanks for watching.